Hello BookTube. Today I'm continuing with my long overdue library tour by starting the science fiction and fantasy shelves. So, I have them currently organized in alphabetical order, but I am thinking of changing my organization plan for my science fiction and fantasy shelves the next time I put new books on the shelves. So, hopefully that will come soon. And then I'll let you know how it turns out. But anyway, for now, let's get to the books. First of all, The Blade Itself by Joe Abercrombie. I have to say, I haven't quite gotten on with this book before, but I definitely do need to reread it. I think I picked up this edition from Better World Books through Alibris. Next, I have Half a King, again by Joe Abercrombie. I picked this one up from Golden's Book Exchange. Next, I have The Price of War and Shadow and Betrayal by Daniel Abraham. These are the complete Long Price Quartet in 2 volumes. This one has this one has the first 2 volumes, A Shadow in Summer and A Betrayal in Winter, and this one has the final 2 volumes, An Autumn War and The Price of Spring. I picked up I picked up Shadow and Betrayal through Amazon, and then The Price of War through, I think, Owl's Books, through Alibris. Next, we have The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy by Douglas Adams. Picked this up from the Friends of the Library book sale alcove at the West Waco Library and Genealogy Center. Another book from the book sale alcove is The Coming of the Horse Clans by Robert Adams. And then we have Saladin Ahmed's Throne of the Crescent Moon. This book I read a few years ago from my library and really enjoyed it. It took me, I think, 2 readings, because I think I kind of like put it aside and then came back to it after a few months. And on my second attempt, really enjoyed it and bought it in this mass market paperback from Amazon. Next, we have The Glamour Thieves by Don Allman. This is basically urban fantasy porn. A male elf has had this long tumultuous relationship with an orc, and let me just read you the back of the book. JT is an orc on the way up. He's got his own boutique robotics shop, high-end clientele, and deep-pocketed investors. He's even mentoring an orc teen who reminds him a bit too much of himself back in the day. Then Austin shows up, and the elf's got the same hard body and silver tongue as he did 2 years ago when they used to be friends and might have been more. He's also got a stolen car to bribe JT to saying yes to one last scheme, stealing the virtual intelligence called Blue Unicorn. Soon JT's up to his tusks in trouble, and it ain't just zombies and Chinese triads threatening to tear his new life apart. Austin wants a second chance with JT. This time it's more than just a friend, and even the Blue Unicorn is trying to play matchmaker. I picked this book up on a Twitter recommendation. I mean, I don't have Twitter, but I kind of follow some authors on Twitter, and one of them is Katie Edwards, and he mentioned The Glamour Thieves and Don Allman's work several times as something he enjoys, and I do really want some gay science fiction and fantasy, and I thought this might be interesting, and it's honestly rather terribly written. Oh, yeah. Next, we have The Shield by Paul Anderson. This is another Friends of the Library Booksell Book Nook pickup. And I want to say Piers Anthony's Gaze of the Gargoyle and On a Pale Horse are both Friends of the Library Booksell Alcove pickups. Next, we have Dark Mondays by K.G. Baker. I want to say I picked this up from A Better World Books. It is a former library book, and I want to say it's from the Houston Public Library. So, and I rather enjoyed this collection. As is the nature of most short story collections, some are considerably better than others, and there are quite a few in here I really like. Let me see here. The Two Old Women, Portrait with Flames, Calamari Curls, Oh False Young Man, I think really good. Yeah. And next I have The Darkness That Comes Before, The Warrior Prophet, and The Thousandfold Thought, all by R. Scott Baker. This is the first trilogy in a 6-book series that I initially, so far, I've only read The Darkness That Comes Before. And it's one of those books where I checked out of the library, didn't quite get on with it, and then took it back, and then it kind of ate at me, and I went back, read it again, and read the whole thing and really enjoyed it, and have been wanting to pick up the other books in the series for some time, and I've finally got them. It's been a few years. They're all, I want to say, Better World books through Alibris. And then we have some Iain M. Banks books, Consider Phlebas, Player of Games, and Accession. Accession is the first book by Iain M. Banks I've bought. I picked it up in San Francisco. I'm blanking on the name of the bookstore, but I picked this in Perdido Street Station, and I read it. I want to say I read it on the plane ride home from San Francisco back to Texas, and I loved this book so much. And then I picked up Consider Phlebas and Player of Games a little bit later. I think they both came from Barnes & Noble, but I want to say I then took them to Golden's and rebought them because I regretted letting go of them, so I rebought them. Or at least I'm pretty sure they're probably the same copies I had earlier. Next, I have two by Clive Barker, Everville and Imagica. They're both used library books, and I want to say I picked up both of them from the Friends of the Library sell nook. Yeah, this one's from Waco. And I want to say this one It's from Hewitt. But I want to say they both came from the Friends at the Library book sale alcove. Usually, the books will be mass market paperbacks, but every once in a while they will have hardback books. Usually they will be discards, as these two are. And finally, I have a new acquisition, The Bone Ships, book 1 in the Tide Child trilogy by R.J. Baker, which I'm looking forward to finally reading, and The Wizard of Oz by Frank Baum. Frank Baum. Now, this one, I mean, obviously, I don't know if I've shown my classics yet. I think I did. This one I accidentally forgot to move. I'm thinking seriously about moving the classics back into the science fiction and fantasy section eventually, but that will be when I finally get around to rearranging my bookshelves. So, until then, and until my next library tour or next video, thank you, BookTube. Have a great day.